We thank Luna, Ruth, Ryan, and Emily for the offertory. Good morning. I'm Reverend Michelle Scott-Huffman. My pronouns are she and her. I'm the minister at First Unitarian Universalist Church of Springfield, and this is my pride giraffe. Earlier this week, I drove past a sign outside a middle school that read, "School's done, time for fun." And my mind immediately went to the scene at the end of Greece where the bell rings and the doors burst open, spilling out these liberated graduates who are ready to face the world after they enjoy the carnival set up right outside the school doors. I remembered moments in my own life where I could hardly withstand the dragging on of those last few days when we weren't doing anything anyway, and we should have just been released into the wild freedom of summer, where long, purposeless days faded into late moonlit nights full of softball games, swimming pools, horse shows, and lightning bug expeditions. As I got older, the sound of that last bell, finally releasing us on the last day of school in May, became more and more melodious. Truth be told, I loved school, and I was always ready to go back long before the summer ended. But oh, those first days of summer and the excitement for what adventures lie ahead. Maybe the thrill of summer was that it was an experiment in making the most of something, or even several somethings, making the most of a day where the sunlight hangs around for 14 hours, 43 minutes, and 31 seconds, like it will today and tomorrow. Making the most of 12 weeks of what felt like freedom, but was really just a well-scheduled and much-needed break. And making the most of a season, a quarter of the year, during which, no matter what age you were or what kind of calendar ruled the other months of your year, was somehow almost magically and inexplicably different. Even as I aged and did work that didn't follow the same kind of seasonal ebbs and tides, summer brought with it a certain sense of celebration and hope. So the celebration of the summer solstice tonight into tomorrow brings me to a place of hopeful anticipation and almost childlike dreams about what might be. The intersection of the solstice celebration and the play theme that we've been exploring this month seems like the perfect space to cultivate a deep appreciation of both the power of play in our lives and the power of nature to bring us back to ourselves and to each other. Ralph Waldo Emerson is said to have written in his journal, "It is a happy talent to know how to play." And Henry David Thoreau said that we need the tonic of wilderness. So the idea of returning to nature's playground seems like a very you kind of suggestion. In fact, on Friday, Reverend Dr. Susan Frederick Gray, UUA president, sent out an email with the subject line, "Take a break, find some joy." In that email, she shared her excitement about the upcoming UUA General Assembly and also her hopes that we would all take some time for rest and renewal and the activities that bring us joy. She wrote, "Rest is critical for the quality and sustainability of our work, and renewal requires more than simply not working. It takes positive energy to recharge our batteries. It means pursuing activities that bring joy and spark our creativity and intellect in new ways. Hike through a national park, putter in your garden, try new recipes, play games, visit museums and amusement parks that are open again. Sit on the porch in a favorite chair with that pile of books you've been waiting to read." It's not at all surprising that the UUA president seems to be encouraging us all to just step outside and take a deep cleansing breath and allow ourselves some time to connect with nature, and probably as a result, to reconnect with ourselves. I read something this week lamenting that childhood has moved indoors, leaving kids disconnected from the natural world. Unfortunately, I'm guessing that's true for more than just children, as many of us find ourselves more and more tethered to desks, couches, and other indoor spaces that keep adults disconnected from the natural world too. Now, if you're worried that I'm about to offer a technology is ruining our lives message, fear not. I mean, it might be, but that's not my angle here. I'm fairly convinced that technology has actually helped me to connect to many things in the natural world that I wouldn't have seen or experienced were it not so connected. And quite honestly, having just moved into our new home and mini farm where we'll tend our horses, chickens, and goats, I'm going for kind of a country connected vibe where technology simplifies things and allows me to have more time outside playing in the barn and on the land with the animals. So maybe it's more palatable for you to imagine spending more time playing in nature if nobody is chiding you to put your phone down and pay attention. That's your business. But the fact remains that meaningful outdoor experiences benefit both children and adults alike and inspire us to love and care for nature. And I'm pretty sure this earth would appreciate a whole lot more of our love and care. So, in this month, when we've been encouraging play and inviting us to be a little or a lot childlike, I hope that we might consider a return to the beauty and simplicity of nature's playground. Just a few of the benefits of time spent in nature include better social skills, enhanced health, increased self-esteem, improved grades or work performance, pro-environment behaviors, and stronger emotional connections to both people and nature. In his book, The Nature Principle, Richard Louv speaks of the mind-body-nature connection. He writes, the mind-body connection, of course, is a familiar concept, but research and common sense suggest a new container, the mind-body-nature connection. Over 2,000 years ago, Chinese Taoists created gardens and greenhouses to improve human health. In 1699, the book English Gardener advised the reader to spend spare time in the garden, either digging, setting out, or weeding. There's no better way to preserve your health, it said. And a century ago, John Muir observed that thousands of tired, nerve-shaken, over-civilized people are beginning to find out that going to the mountains is going home, that wilderness is a necessity, and that mountain parks and reservations are useful not only as fountains of timber and irrigating rivers, but as fountains of life. Louv agrees with Thoreau that wilderness is a tonic, and he gives it a name, vitamin N for nature. And speaking of vitamins, some studies have shown that up to 3/4 of US teens and adults are deficient in vitamin D, which we get naturally from careful exposure to the sun. Shout out to my dear friend Renee and my wife Stephanie, who remind me at the onset of all manner of afflictions that water and vitamin D are surely the answer to most of life's problems. A claim that I always predictably meet with a dramatic eye roll. Anyway, I digress. I'm sure I haven't told you anything you didn't already know about the benefits of getting out in nature. But the question we might ask now is why it matters in this space. You could have heard such a lecture at the local library or in a classroom at the zoo, but today you're hearing it here, such as it is, in this virtual church, a place where we tend to our spiritual selves, as well as the rest of us. Louv's writing touches on that too. Chapter 18 in his book is Vitamin N for the Soul. He shares that it's hard to fathom how any kind of spiritual intelligence is possible without an appreciation for nature. Most of us intuitively understand that all spiritual life, however it is defined, begins with and is nourished by a sense of wonder. The natural world is one of our most reliable windows into wonder, and at least to some, into spiritual intelligence. In fact, Catholic priest Thomas Berry, who was honored by the United Nations as a leading voice for the earth, said, our environmental problems are primarily issues of the spirit. We can probably all relate to issues of the spirit in one way or another that have hampered our growth and maybe slowed us down in our quest to be the person that we want to be, the one that lives fully into the values and principles that we claim in our lives. Emerson and Moore would have agreed, along with Irish philosopher Edmund Burke before them, that feelings of spirituality don't just spring from religion, which I know I don't have to tell you all, but that they also spring from transcendent experiences in nature. Burke spoke about experiences in nature in terms of awe and astonishment, borrowing from Kant and Wordsworth to liberate the concept of awe from strictly religious experience to something more broadly available and inclusive. Picking up Burke's themes of vastness and humility, Emerson would write in 1836, "Standing on the bare ground, my head bathed by the blithe air and uplifted into infinite space, all mean egotism vanishes." I suspect that many of us are in this place on Sunday morning because we seek to engage our whole selves, body, mind, and spirit, in something transformative. Play, Albert Einstein said, is the highest form of research. And so, as we celebrate the solstice today and head into the sometimes simultaneously magical and miserable season that is summer, may we allow ourselves to set out with childlike anticipation about what we might learn, with the wholehearted intention to give ourselves over to play, and with a healthy sense of awe at that which lies just beyond our everyday experience. May we wiggle our bare toes in some sand, immerse ourselves fully in water, or just wade into our knees. May we put our hands in some dirt and turn seeds into plants. And may we dance around a fire to a drum beat, on the deck with someone we love, or even in the kitchen alone. Whatever it is that is playful for you and that takes you out of the serious and the mundane, I hope that you'll do it. And I hope at least some of it takes you to places where the beauty and brilliance of nature takes your breath away. Because it's been said that life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. I'll close with these wise words from Mary Oliver that I'm sure she must have written either in nature or thinking of nature. Instructions for living a life. Pay attention, be astonished, tell about it. Blessed be, and amen. The interlude is Lullaby to a Doll, performed by Colleen Apple.